the Valley Current.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah?
You're coming in from the remote jungles of Guatemala, right?
Very remote. Very remote.
But you love it that way, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good. My name is out there already. I've had a couple of people contact me saying, hey, I heard you're in the Peace Corps. And I go, how?
We've got wide distribution, man.
We haven't spoken for 10 years.
Right.
I mean, I was on a board of this woman. She had an ecological training institute in Costa Rica that I used to take my Boy Scouts to. I mean, this was 20 years ago.
Right.
And all of a sudden she says, by the way, I'm an ex-Peace Corps too, and I see you're in Guatemala. How's it going?
Well, there's a lot of people that are talking about you because you're doing something that's so marvelous and so incongruent with American capitalism. I mean, you're doing something that's the opposite.
What's happened to me basically is that the director of the Peace Corps here in Guatemala send out an email like 2 days after you guys posted it on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Or on YouTube,
right?
And it was a long diatribe about how, as you all know, the Peace Corps is absolutely against any marijuana. You cannot use it, and if you're caught, you're going to be immediately fired. So
I don't remember you mentioning marijuana. I don't remember that. Seriously, I don't remember.
I think we used the word pot. But in any event, you're dealing with somebody who grew up in the 60s, and we were all just paranoid. Because you could really get in trouble, off you go to the army, whatever, Vietnam. Those were bad days, and so I am still that way. When I'm around people doing it, I just I get paranoid. I just I'm not comfortable.
But it's pretty common in that neck of the woods, generally, isn't it?
Not here at all. Not here at all.
Not there.
No, it's almost a little bit like Colombia. I mean, even though Pablo Escobar and the Colombian cocaine era, I was down there for that too. They know that the American consumption of drugs is what brought the war on. So I really don't like gringos because they're responsible for creating the demand for these illegal drugs. And they're the ones responsible for the escalation of all these wars, especially financed by the U.S.
Right.
I mean, I understand that some reporter grilled Trump and said, listen, you just tried to pass an executive order making it mandatory to export or to, deport. Deport illegal aliens, especially if they have any misdemeanors or felonies against them. So, Mr. President, I understand you're an illegal alien because your wife has been illegal. So you, by association, are an illegal immigrant, and you've got 43 felonies against you. He apparently blew up.
Well, I have to say it's a little bit like the pot calling the kettle black that they targeted Lisa Cook on mortgage fraud when that's exactly what Trump was doing, that he was convicted of a felony on. And, they must have run a large AI program against every little tiny piece of paper that Lisa Cook ever filed anywhere. And it came back with, hey, there's 2 weeks apart, there's 2 mortgage applications that look like they're both saying that they're her principal residence. And that's why that's why he terminated her for cause, even though I don't know that he's got the power to do it. I guess we'll see what the court says about it.
He doesn't, but I think the court will be a day late and a dollar short. The damage will be done. I mean, I think he's going to go after her, with everything he's got. So all of a sudden she's going to end up with legal bills on a personal basis, and she'll go bankrupt, just like, Giuliani went bankrupt after he got into all these legal squabbles. It's just a tit for tat, and he knows how to use lawyers to intimidate everybody. And, he's got a big purse and it works.
If the court wants to punt, what they would do is say, look, in the first instance, she gets a hearing in front of Powell and the rest of her colleagues to explain and create a record for, was she aiming to commit intentional fraud, or was she thinking about moving when she bought the first house? Was she like, oh shit, I got to move to Washington, D.C. or whatever, wherever the second house was. One was, I think, in Georgia, and the other one, I think, was in D.C. Because you could have life could throw you a curveball depending on your job and a lot of other things. I don't know that you're supposed to go back to the first mortgage and say, hey, maybe you want to charge, I'm going to turn this into an investment property now or a vacation property. I don't know how that works, but
I like to see a legal mind working. It's already cooking through the labyrinth there and trying to figure out, okay, what we're going to do.
I figure worst case
come down to.
Right.
You know,
worst case, her husband's going to walk the plank and say she never read it. I read it.
Well, I think what happens to most of these people who have been well-intentioned, and all of a sudden they're going to be in 24/7 fighting for their reputations.
Yep.
And they're finally going to say, screw it. And they're going to quit. You know, it's just not worth it because he fights dirty. All of a sudden, all these crazy lawyers are going to come out of the woodwork and they're going to drag up traffic tickets from, Safeway.
Right. Add that the AI programs make it easy, because the AI programs, you can submit every little piece of paper that ever existed back to our first grade report card and basically say, run through this and tell us if there's any inconsistencies. And I'm sure that's probably how they figured it out. Like the reserve board is supposed to do an investigation before she gets whatever government level she has. She's a government.
But that was in the days when everything was done by paper and fax.
Right, exactly.
So, I remember when you want to talk about legal records, I got a false arrest when I was in sophomore year of college.
Yeah.
FBI, crossed the border, all kinds of stuff,
Right.
And I had nothing to do with it. It was an absolute coincidence. I happened to be driving a blue pickup truck north when somebody else was driving a blue pickup truck south. So they had my plates at the gas station when I got gas. And the guy driving south had a girl in the back, and he was, assaulting her, and finally threw her to the side of the road. She was in a coma for 15 days. Ouch. And thus began a manhunt. And they figured out it was a blue pickup truck somehow. So they came after me, and I'm up on a fishing trip in Eastern Oregon.
Right.
I'm there with a buddy of mine from high school. This is a buddy. He and I both came to our first year of high school. I came from Washington, D.C., and he came from Boston, Massachusetts. So we were the new guys on the block, right?
In Oregon?
No, this was in California. I was in Palo Alto, California.
Okay. Okay.
And so here we are in we're in 8th grade or something, junior high school. And he's black, but he's really an Oreo because he's been raised middle class in Boston, Massachusetts. So he's got an RFK accent,
Okay.
He's a blue blood black, right?
Wow, that must have been interesting. Is he good at fishing?
Both his father and mother were PhDs. Anyway, so he and I went fishing. I was going to school in Oregon. He was a Stanford freshman or junior, right?
Okay.
So he's a smart cookie. We both went to high school and stuff, but high school together. He did wrestling, and I did water polo and tennis and things like that.
Right.
So here we are in our junior year, and I said, well, Al, come on up here in August. We'll do some lake trout fishing in the season here in Eastern Oregon. And I go back to school a little bit earlier because we're on a semester in Willamette University, and you're on the quarterly program at Stanford. So we'll meet up and just, fish for 2 weeks. And then we go to our respective schools. So we finished fishing for a week. We were in town buying supplies, getting ready to go for another river. And I called home. Hey, how's everybody doing? My little sister answers and she goes, you're in deep shit. The police were here yesterday.
They're trying to find you.
They're looking for you. I know you've done something. I knew it.
Oh,
So
brother.
my little sister loves to stir it up. So sure enough, my dad gets on the phone and he goes, "Hey, Chris, we got a problem. I don't know what you and Al are up to, but we got the FBI coming by the office. Coming by the house yesterday.
And they say you're human trafficking cross border.
And they can't tell me what's going on, but they do tell me it's federal. So that's serious stuff, Chris. So this is what I want you to do. Here's the name and number of a lawyer in Portland that I know, or been referred to.
Nice.
Call him, get to meet him quickly, and stay very, very careful." Okay, right. Dad, this is weird. Right. So I go back, to see Al. I go, "Al, we got a headache. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to meet this lawyer. I just called him, and he's going to meet us for lunch tomorrow, the cafe in Serendipity, Oregon."
Okay, nice name.
Nice name. So we come into town, and sure enough, we meet this lawyer who's one racist son of a bitch. He takes one look at Al. Look at Al.
Oh no!
He pulls out our records. He's pulled both records on us, and both of us, believe it or not, unfortunately, have records.
Oh shit!
Al got busted for stealing bicycles on the Stanford campus.
Oh man!
So there's a mug shot of him, and he's looking really mean. He's got that real mean look to him.
Let me tell you something. Stanford has so many abandoned bicycles. They should want people to take them. There's so many abandoned bicycles. I once took a picture of how many abandoned bicycles that had tags on them, and they're expensive bicycles because these kids have money.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Well, I think he took some nice ones from the fraternities, and
Okay, that might be a little.
I don't think he was going for the beach cruisers, but anyway,
in the back of a carjacking that he took, he took.
He got busted for some bikes.
So I had busted. This lawyer thought you were guilty as charged, basically.
Yeah, this guy thought, and I had mug shots because I got caught with minor possession of beer. We were rafting on a river in Oregon, and before we even got in the water, the cops, as we were loading all the beer in the raft, the cops all caught us, and we were, underage. You got to be 21 there.
Right.
So anyway, this guy is not, he says, "Well, you guys must have done something because the FBI does not go after a couple of honest little school kids."
Right. They're perfect. They're perfect. Right. They're perfect.
Right. So you guys are in deep poo-poo, and we don't know what it is yet. They won't disclose. But my advice is that you guys turn yourselves in.
Yeah.
And I'll call you tomorrow. You guys talk about it. And he's left. So Al and I go back, and we beat the shit out of each other. Pardon my French.
Really? You fought each other?
Yeah, because we both believed that the other guy wasn't coming clean.
Oh, okay. All right.
You what did you do?
Oh, that's weird.
What did you do?
Yeah, I would have gone the other way. I would have assumed that the FBI got something wrong because I would have remembered the film. Of course, it wasn't out yet. Called My Cousin Vinny. When these two guys, you remember? There's a scene where the same car, similar car. They identify the car based on the tire treads or something. It's a really funny film.
Well, we started out pretty good. We drove back. We were at a campsite. But as we started drinking beer around the fire, trying to figure out what to do, we started to realize that, if the FBI's got to have a reason, and I'm not the reason, so you must be the reason.
Right.
And we both felt very strongly about that because he knew I was pretty wild up in Oregon, and I knew he was still wild at Stanford, right? We both were wild guys.
You had the prisoner's dilemma problem right there.
We did. Right? We did. So we rolled around the dust for a while. We finally quit. We went in the next day and said, "No, we're gonna wait a couple more days. Mm-hmm. We're not going to ruin our fishing trip just because the FBI is looking for us."
That's smart.
But so anyway, 3 days later, I called in, and my dad was furious because he said, "You got to make a decision. You got to go turn yourselves in, or jointly, or Stanford. Al flies to Stanford, and you go into Willamette University."
Right.
And so. The lawyer calls again. He says, "I'm going to have another meeting with you. I got some more information." So he shows up, and he had gone to the campus to check me out. Right, lawyer was. I guess they all decided that maybe Chris is, not telling the truth. So they went to see the dean of men. right?
Okay.
And unfortunately, I had not made good friends with him. I had done a stupid thing. I had not made friends with the dean of men. I was in a wild fraternity, and every time he came in to discipline us, he would lie to us, and I would say, "No, that's not true. That's not how."
Brother, you're on his shit list.
I was on his shit list.
You were on his shit list.
So sure enough, the lawyer says that I went in, I interviewed the president of the fraternity and the dean. And when the president of the university, when the president of the fraternity was shown your mugshot and that of Al Banks, he was asked, "Do you think that either of these gentlemen would be capable of murder?" And that son of a gun said yes.
Wow.
So Larry Kramer became my best friend, of course. So we decided, okay, the jig's up. I'm not going to put up with this anymore. I drove in, dropped Al off at the airport. Salem, Oregon had an airport at that time that went right into San Francisco,
right,
nonstop. And I drove.
Salem's the capital of Oregon. A little fact you don't know, I'm admitted to the bar in Oregon. At one point, we had a Portland office there in Oregon. Little point of reference. So I'm familiar with.
That's good because Willamette was basically pre-law, so I was going pre-law.
Yeah.
Willamette had a law school, and the advisor to our fraternity was an ex Sigma Chi. And he was Secretary of State, and we used to go across the street to the Capitol and meet in his offices. So
nice.
I was studying political science and going legal. So I didn't know what I was going to do, but having fun with it. So as I come into the parking lot,
you must have been pretty scared. You must have been pretty scared, right?
No, because I hadn't done anything.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, we had lawyers. My dad was on my side, so I felt pretty confident. Yeah. I was a bit shook up that the dean of men and my fraternity brothers were turning me in, but I decided to go to the fraternity house first and then go to the jail, to the FBI office.
Right.
But as I drove into
they give you a lie detector test. Do they offer that to you?
No.
They didn't. Okay.
No, this is what happened. You'll love this. So I drive into the parking lot of the fraternity, and as I get out of the car, 3 guys with shiny black shoes, come at me.
Yeah.
And immediately identify themselves as FBI. I'm cuffed and I'm thrown in the back of a car.
No, brother.
Yep. So they drive me downtown. I keep saying, do I get my phone call? What's going on here? And they go, no, you will eventually, but you're in a holding cell right now. So they put me in a room. It wasn't a cell, which was nice.
Okay.
They took the cuffs off, but they took my belt off. They took all my dangerous stuff off.
You might commit suicide, right, on their watch.
Yep. And this was at about 10 o'clock in the morning. And about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I think I got a little sandwich, a little Coca-Cola. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they came in and said, "You're free to go."
Wow.
So I went back to the fraternity.
They probably indirectly took some fingerprints, right?
Well, they had the prints already because I had been booked before.
Okay.
They didn't interrogate me. There was no questions. They just put me in there, identified me, and they put me in a room. And the FBI guys were all on their phones and stuff. So anyway, apparently what happened is that the woman who had been assaulted regained consciousness.
Oh, nice.
And positively identified Al and me as not being her assailants.
Oh, that's good. That's perfect.
Okay.
Wow.
So I immediately go back to the fraternity. I go to the fraternity and I socked Larry Kramer right in the mouth. That felt good. And
you have anger issues, man. You have some anger issues there.
Well, I was pretty ticked off. This has been a week-long drama.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a good chapter for your memoir. This is like 50 years. This is like more than 50 years ago.
Yeah, this was
good memory.
Yeah, this is. Yeah. So what happened when I finally got accepted to the World Bank? They were doing my background check. Took them 6 months, severely delayed, because even though my record was blacklined, what do you call it? Expunged or whatever?
Redacted.
Expunged.
Yeah, expunged. Yeah.
It was supposed to be expunged. because it was false arrest. It wasn't. They kept it in the record. It was redacted, except in the margins. In the margins of those documents, they had the federal civil code numbers.
Wow.
So what happened when the World Bank was looking at it, they said, what the heck? Interstate flight and attempted murder?
Ouch.
So my application was going through all kinds of reviews, and they go, do you know what's going on here? I'm going, well, yeah, it's a false arrest. But you know, for 6 months I was on ice, and I didn't know if I was actually going to be accepted.
Right.
And I eventually spent 12 years with the World Bank. But you know, it's never out of your record. So I'm sure if they look me up with the AI, they'll find everything.
You could have been totally derailed at a very early stage of your life just by that woman saying, I think that's
I got derailed. You want to hear the other part? You want to hear the other part?
Yeah.
My dad worked hard to make sure that I applied to Stanford.
Okay.
And I got a water polo scholarship from Stanford University.
Wow. That's huge.
That's huge. And that dean screwed me up completely.
Ouch.
He sent in reports to Stanford, and they just said, sorry, Chris.
My
dad was so pissed.
Oh,
and I learned a big lesson in life.
Right.
I learned a big lesson in life.
Right.
I just gratuitously pissed off this dean just for fun. For fun. Because he was a dickhead, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm smarter than him. But he had the last laugh completely. My dad was furious. Jim Gorin taught me how to swim when I was a teenager, when I first moved to Stanford. We lived in a Stanford fraternity house.
I know Jim because he used to run the Ladera swim program. Jim Gorin.
Jim Gorin.
Yes, he used to run Ladera. He used to run Ladera. Yeah, now he's retired, I think. Yeah.
Oh, he must be because he taught me how to swim when I came out there in 9th grade, which was 1963, 64.
Right.
And then when I was doing water polo in high school, of course, I stayed in touch with him because I'd go to Stanford pool for workouts. So I was good in water polo. I was a goalie, and I was a good goalie.
Right.
But anyway, that was an interesting chapter. So I've learned to keep my nose away from the police. So when I smell marijuana, I go the other direction. I don't care where I am.
That's smart. That's pretty smart. Of course, if you landed in New York City, you'd have to race away from every street corner because it's all over New York City.
Is it?
Literally. Oh yeah. You can't walk half a block and not smell secondhand smoke. You just can't.
And nowadays it's so strong. You know, in my day, it was just bushweed from Mexico and full of malathion, you know?
Right. No, New York City's got dispensaries. They've got a lot of street vendors that, you know, are not really licensed. They've got a lot of tourists that come. I mean, it's a little bit like a party town. It's like a wild party town. I'm kind of surprised that there haven't been, maybe there have been more accidents because you got these fast delivery food guys that are going like 35 miles an hour on an electric bike, and they've rewired the bikes to get above the governor. And man, I mean, those guys, I interviewed one. And I wanted to actually make a podcast out of it because he said, man, I could make $1,000 a day delivering food. I was like, how do you do $1,000 a day? He said, if I work 12 hours a day, I can deliver 10 lunches or dinners or whatever, like 10 meals every hour.
He gets the money plus a tip.
I get the tip, I get the money, and he says the average tip can be as much as $2. He says I can make some days I've made $2,500 in a day. This is, I mean, anyone that says in America that you can't make money hasn't like gone on the street and talked to these guys that know how to make money, because I have to tell you something, it's not that hard. And they rent the bikes. They rent the bikes. They don't even have to own the bikes. You don't need any capital. They basically rent the bikes. I mean, it's such an amazing country in a way that we have Uber drivers that can rent cars. We have bicycle delivery people that can rent the bikes. I mean, I don't think anyone that really wants to work. Now, maybe it's not the best job on earth because they freeze their ass off in the winter, but they probably get bigger tips as a result, right? To some degree.
But you know, I remember when they first came out, the delivery guys. Remember in San Francisco? I don't know if you were there.
Right.
These guys were daredevils, absolute daredevils.
Oh, yeah.
They're flying through the lights. They're going around traffic.
And they're smoking marijuana too. That's why I'm thinking of this, because they're like glassy eyed and they're just completely wired. Chris, I'm telling you, it's really funny to think of. Like, everyone's getting delivery. I'm sure they're probably dealing marijuana on the side and making even more money. I can imagine. Like,
sure, their satchel's got more than a pizza in it.
Right. That's my sense of it. So when you send all those pictures of people in your community there, are you helping them grow better crops? When you send the broccoli picture and some of the other pictures you sent recently, are you helping improve the yield on those crops, or what's going on?
I am. I must say, Jack, it's really starting to really come into fruition with me, because I've had to write my annual plan.
Right.
And I decided to really focus on improving the productivity of existing farms. I mean, trying to introduce new crops and value-added processing, that's beyond these people. I mean, right. I just sent you a note. I've got this one young lady who's been very nice to deal with, because her mom has 6 daughters and they sell juice on the sidewalk. And I tell her what I'm doing, and she says, "Can you get me in these programs?" I go, "Sure, but you're down here selling juice." "Well, I have a farm up on the hill." Nice. So I said, "Okay, I'll help vaccinate your chickens." So I went up one day and vaccinated her chickens. She's living in an absolute Shangri-La. She's in a valley with no other houses in sight. She's got corn 9 feet tall all around the house that she planted. She's got it double cropped with different types of beans, because in Maya, corn is sacred in the Maya religion. Right. And they eat corn 365 a day, or 65 days a year. Right. And they double crop it with beans. So instead of planting corn like 1 foot apart in long rows like we do, right, they'll plant 5 or 6 clumps of seeds of corn, and they'll grow in a clump. And then a meter away, another 5 seeds will grow 5 big, tall clumps of corn. Okay. And in the same clump, they put bean plants. So the bean plants are growing up along the corn. The corn serves as the staff to have the beans grow up. Does that make the soil better generally? Does that keep the soil rejuvenated somehow? Yeah, because the beans fixes nitrogen for the corn. The corn consumes a lot of the nutrients and destroys it. That's why they use a lot of fertilizer. But so I met a guy who's quite interesting. He's just a young guy running around town. Turns out that he's working for a foundation that's teaching people how to make worm compost. Okay. Which is you use a California worm, right? It's a special worm. It's not the earthworm or anything. And you throw it into a bucket or into a wash tub, and you throw a bunch of compost on it. And these worms start to convert all the fruits and vegetables that you've thrown on it into a beautiful soil compost. Okay. The worm has 7 stomachs, so it digests the hell out of this stuff. And it poops it out, and it pisses it out. So at the bottom of your bucket, you put a spigot, and you collect the piss. And you collect about 1 liter a day, because you start with 1 liter of water. And after a week, it's turned yellow. They've pissed. You recirculate it. You throw it back on top of the pile. The next week, that liter of piss comes out even yellower. You do that for a month, 4 times, and you've got some really strong worm piss. And that worm piss is a fabulous fertilizer. Oh, okay. I would never have guessed that. I would have guessed the soil that's created inside the bucket. That is perfect too. And there's a whole story about the compost I can tell you about Costa Rica and the coffee industry. Right. But what's interesting here, this guy's grandfather just died Thursday. I was at the funerals Friday. He was a big man. He had his casket out in the middle of the basketball court in the center of town and a couple hundred people around it, 82 years old. He was the father of forestry here in Guatemala, right here out of my little town of Palestina. Okay. His grandson is the one who's running around giving courses on worm culture and also how to grow mushrooms. You can grow mushrooms by taking the corn cobs. You take those corn cobs that have been, the corn's all been peeled off. It's just a cob. Right. You soak it in a little bit of lime overnight. Right. And then you take that corn cob and you throw it in a plastic bag with these spores of oyster mushrooms. And a month later, you got 5 or 6 pounds of oyster mushrooms popping out of that plastic bag.
Wow.
And you can do that. You can do that for 4 or 5 months. So every month you get 4 or 5 pounds. It's worth $10 a pound to sell, or you eat it because mushrooms are very nutritious.
Yeah. So that's news to you, right? That both of these things are news to you. Like you've been in agriculture for a while, but both of those things are surprising, or you know about them both?
I've known about them both, but I've known them more on a commercial scale, not on a home scale. Very artisanal. I mean, this is designed to get a little bucket going of your worm culture. This is not doing it on a commercial scale, which is what I'm used to doing.
Right.
So now, and I've just finished my annual plan, I'm working with 5 different groups. I've already trained 2 of them on the first phase of both the oysters and the worms.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to make it work. I'm going to go follow up with these ladies and help them. The mom ladies are afraid of worms. They don't like worms. They don't like them. They're gooey. They're scary. So I'm going to try and work on maybe getting a couple of them that really know what they're doing to move with this stuff. To give you an example, like everything else in the world, you start with 10 people, 2 of them get it, and 1 of them really succeeds, right?
Right.
5 of them don't even come to the second class. You lose people all the time.
Always.
Last year, they started with a chicken program. They got some money out of AID, and they gave 25 chickens away to about 25 little ladies.
Okay.
And they gave them some feed, a little bit of instruction. They helped them build their coops and stuff. So we've taught them how to grow egg-laying hens, and now we're off taking the eggs and selling the eggs for them. And next week, I meet with a lady who's going to come around and help us do more consulting. The guy that I'm dealing with, his grandpa was this forestry guy, and to make sure that all of their, starts in the greenhouse, all these small saplings that they grow and sell and use, they hit them with all this fertilizer, and it doubles the productivity. These trees grow twice as fast as if you just sat there, leaving them alone or fertilizing with commercial fertilizer. This worm stuff is miracle. You can even spray it on the plants. So anyway, I'm really motivated on those 2. I'm not so motivated on the chickens because I really don't like chickens very much. My son and I raised them for years when he was in high school.
You got to worry about chicken pox, don't you? No,
you just there are a lot of maintenance, and you got to worry about them a lot. You got to check them out. You got to feed them, keep their shitty little pens clean and stuff. They're a pain.
Right.
Whereas,
but when you say they're growing trees faster, is that for lumber or what is that for?
Well, these guys are growing Christmas trees and making good money with Christmas trees. Most people want to grow fruit trees. Most people are growing fruit trees.
Okay.
And that works great too. So, I mean, I think I sent you these pictures and a note today about how I spent yesterday with this MAM woman. And I realized a couple of things. One is they're really interested in learning how to make more money. And if if they can sell this worm fertilizer, which they can, the guy that's helping develop it says, I'll buy the fertilizer from you. But let's produce it on a more commercial basis. So instead of having each individual household do with it, I think we're going to find 1 or 2 women in each group and help them build a commercial worm fertilizer producing mechanism. It's not expensive. It's easy to do, but it makes more sense to go after it really hard instead of just playing with it in the backyard.
Right. What's the name of the worm? What's the actual Latin name of the worm?
I don't know. It's a California red worm, they call it.
California red worm?
Right. California red worm.
And is it brought in? Is it brought in from California or is it there?
I don't know where these guys get them. I don't know where they get them, but there's a couple of foundations that are helping promote this stuff because it makes so much sense. Instead of having people buy commercial fertilizer, bullshit, produce it at home with your own garbage. But to give an example of when we do get a success, I mean, they've done 25 ladies with the birds. A number of them are doing very well, and every Wednesday they bring in 3 or 4 flats of eggs, which we buy and sell for.
That's like 144 eggs in a flat, right? Is it 144 eggs? Like that? Right. It's a big, it's like 12 by 12, right?
Yeah, big flats. And they bring in a bunch. And every Wednesday, one of my compadres here in the ministry comes by with his truck and picks them up, takes them into big city and sells them. But most of them have 25 to 30 birds. A lady came in on Friday. She now has 130 birds. I mean, she listened, she got it, and she is cooking with it, just cooking.
But the birds don't live forever, right? They're like 2-3 years.
They're 2 or 3 years. But you vaccinate them every couple of months, and you concentrate and some additives and vitamins and stuff like that. But the point is,
you've had some good omelets there. It sounds like.
You bet. I got some right here, and some of the eggs from these wonderful ladies too. And by the way, they still got the chicken shit on them because when you get that egg from the chicken, you don't wash it until you're ready to eat it because it stays sealed because of all the you got that Wow,
I didn't know I got that. I did know that. I had chickens. I had chickens in Portola Valley. They were the most expensive eggs that I ever imagined happening because the feed was pretty expensive, and then of course the foxes and the coyotes and the other predators out there would dig under the coop, and we had to put a wire floor down because they would just skunks. They would just rip things apart. They were just awful. And you'd say, "Where'd that chicken go?" Yeah, it's terrible. So you look good. It looks like you're reverse aging. What you're doing now is getting younger, right? You found the fountain of youth in the Mayan culture, right?
I did. I went up and had a beautiful lunch with my mom girlfriend, and I learned 2 things. I wanted her to translate my lesson plans into Mam.
Right.
I'm teaching this in Spanish, but a lot of times one of the ladies has to convert it into Mam and really express it to these little ladies about what we're doing. And she said, "Well, I'm really sorry to disappoint you, Chris, but I can't read or write Mam. It's a spoken language. That's probably one of the reasons it's disappearing." I actually downloaded a lesson plan today of written Mam, but she says, "I can't help you write your lesson plan because so many of us don't read and write it."
You're on your own with Google. You're on your own with Google Translate at this point.
No, actually, I found a MAM course produced by Stanford University in Berkeley. It's fabulous.
Wow. Nice.
Fabulous. Nice. Beautiful. It starts with the very basics and takes you right along. It's done by these people at Stanford and Berkeley. Amazing. Those 2 universities collaborated to teach MAM.
Is it spelled MAYN or what is it spelled?
MAM.
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 MAM. MAM. Okay. Interesting.
It's very hard to speak, and it's not a common alphabet, and it's very guttural. It's a lot of so you're always choking when you speak it. But the second thing I learned, Jack, I finally got to the bottom of her marital status.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to embarrass her or get anything complicated because it's a small town, right?
Right.
And I know she's got a 5-year-old kid, and we don't do anything. We don't visit or do too much stuff in public. She comes by the office sometimes, and I go by her fruit stand. But she was delighted to have me go visit her farm, and I sent you some pictures of a beautiful farm.
Yeah,
it's up in the middle of nowhere, and we had the most relaxing day talking about things like, well, okay, so your husband's been away for 5 years. How's that working?
Wow.
She says, well, it works. Everybody has it like that. You've noticed that nobody has men around. Yeah. They're all working in Georgia or wherever. And I go, but wait a minute. How can you guys maintain on that basis? And she said, well, he's going to be back in 2 years. He's been gone 5. He says he's going to be back in 2. And I've got neighbors who haven't seen their husband for 20 years and they're still waiting.
Wow.
And I go, well, is this just patience or is this stupidity?
Right.
And she said, it's patience. It's the way life is here. And
well, it's also very Catholic, isn't it? Very Catholic? No, there is Catholic, and there is a lot of these born again Christian types of groups running around. The Mormons are here, everybody. But I think this is basically
a native view of the world, which is this is my lot in life and I'm going to accept it as it is. And I'm fine. I've got kids to deal with. I've got to make a living. I'm out here harvesting food. I'm trying to survive. We don't have jobs here. I'm selling juice on the corner with my mother, for crying out loud.
Right. What kind of juice? Like orange juice, or what is it?
She does orange juice, and then often I come by with my my ginger and tamarind. I think it's tamarind. No.
Yeah.
Anyway, she gives me a little bit of ginseng mixed with beets and with carrots.
Wow.
And with anything I want. Anything I want.
You're set up there, man.
They'll put 2 huevos de Cornish eggs in there. The spotted ones.
Wow.
And they do a good business. Everybody, they're right near a bus stop, and so everybody jumps out and grabs juices from them. And I've been making hammocks out of the used dresses of her mother, because here they have these beautiful embroidered blouses called wapil, and then they also have this really weird, very heavy canvas skirt that they wrap around, and they tie a big belt on it, like a judo belt, and they stick their phone belt. But these big wraparounds are nice and long. And so I've been making beautiful hammocks with them. I mean, each one of these comes from some different tribe.
So is this your Christmas gift list being fulfilled with your hammocks, or are you actually selling them?
Well, I'm working on selling them to the gringos.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of them. And you can see this one has a little bit of a pattern to it, maybe.
Yeah.
You see these colors.
You got a sewing machine there?
No. For $3, I go take it to a guy and he sews an end on it.
Nice.
And there's my rope.
Wow.
And I'm giving these hammocks away to two of my Peace Corps buddies, because we're going to the lake this weekend and they're having a birthday party for them. So I've got 2 buddies that are going to have birthdays. So these hammocks cost me like, what is it? $10 for the material and $3 to sew it, and $3 for the rope.
Pretty good. You could sell that for at least 100 in the States, that's for sure.
Well, I'm working on trying to get some nice embroidered edges going on it and figure out if I can make a market. No one uses hammocks here except on the coast. So I don't have any competition. And what I'm hoping to do is maybe when my daughter comes to visit in December, I can get a bunch of these hammocks organized and she can take them back to Costa Rica and sell them for $30 or $40.
She can put it in her big roller bag that's empty. That's it.
She's going to bring me a lot of chocolate, I hope.
So Chris, the wrap-up question is, you found more community where you are today than when you were down in Todos Santos, which of course is a pretty decent sized town, right? There's community there too.
Yeah, I found community with you and with Andy. I've talked to Andy this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a couple of friends, and my gardener, he's been back and forth with me because he's very interested in worm culture. But there's community everywhere. But I must say that I've worked harder at it here, because it's more challenging. They look at a gringo as like, wow, guy from outer space.
Right.
He's just kind of a weird guy. And you look at him, and when you're in some of these little villages, they say hello and they bow, and the young boys will touch their head when they go by. They're so polite.
Right.
But in town, of course, they're a little more jaded, and the drunks run around and stuff.
Well, you were totally clean shaven when you first got there. Now you're back with the little goatee, beard, mustache thing, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Does that matter? Does that matter? You don't want to look like a gringo, right?
I don't want. I think I might let it go a little bit further. It just gets grayer and grubbier.
But you've been lucky enough to get enough protein. Your meals are good. The food is good. You're not killing yourself hiking.
No, food's great.
Miles a day.
And these guys here in the Peace Corps, look at this is my medical kit.
Nice.
It's full of vitamins and prophylactics. There's 24 prophylactics.
That's pretty funny. Wow. That's pretty funny. I thought
it was a great vote of confidence.
I'm sure you're observing some of these 20-year-olds in the group. and what happens between 20-year-olds.
Oh yeah, no, they're all getting in trouble, and the Peace Corps actually told them, all these tests you want us to run when you get into trouble, we can't afford to pay for all these tests because we got to send these blood samples out. Right.
Sounds like you're in good spirits and you're happy, and that's what's really important. And I'm sure it's going to continue because you've got a 2-year hike from here, don't you?
I do. That's my commitment.
Two more years. What is it until the next election? Is it basically the next? Does it jive with the next election more or less?
Just about November 27. Yeah.
Well, maybe you're out of the news cycle, and it's going to help your mental health. Certainly, the mental health of most people in the States seems to be diminishing over time.
Yeah, well, it's going to work out. I mean, my mom might create some challenges for me, but I got to figure out what to do with the money that I will eventually, hopefully, get from this property. Can you believe it hasn't paid out yet?
Doesn't surprise me. We could talk about that again. Anyway, take care. Talk to you later.
All the best.
Tune in next time on The Valley Current.